A colloquium in honor of Emeritus Professor Godwin Sogolo at 70, themed Ethics, Governance and Social Order in Africa, organized by the lecturers and students of the Faculty of Arts and Department of Philosophy, University of Ibadan, was quite a befitting event considering the personality of the very erudite and astute educationist who has made his mark in the education sector and in several other professional fields, such as the media, where he served in various capacities and in different media outfits. Professor Godwin Sogolo is an Emeritus Professor of Philosophy at the National Open University, now a renowned scholar, teacher, researcher, and prolific writer who voluntarily retired from the University of Ibadan in 2003 after 27 years of meritorious service and has since remained relevant in the areas of governance, media consultancy, and social commentaries. Professor Godwin Sogolo was born on the 4th of January 1946 in Emevo, Isoko North Local Government Area of Delta State. He attended Sido Primary School, Warri, Urobo College, Efurun, University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, and Cardiff University in Wales, in the United Kingdom, where he obtained his PhD in philosophy in 1976. He is married to Mrs. Caroline Sogolo, Nee Makuzweski, and blessed with 2 children, Preston and Samantha Sogolo. Professor Godwin Sogolo started his teaching career in 1976 as lecturer 2 and rose to become professor in 1988. He taught philosophy at the University of Ibadan, University of South Africa, Uni-SA, Pretoria, South Africa, Birmingham University, SUNY, Birmingham, USA, and Cardiff University of Wales, Cardiff, UK. He was head of department for several years and Dean of Faculty of Arts at the University of Ibadan. He has published widely, having to his credit several books and numerous articles and scholarly journals. Beyond the university system, Professor Godwin Sogolo has served as the Director of Research and Policy Analysis at the Institute of Peace and Conflict Resolution, the Presidency, Abuja. He was executive editor of the African Guardian magazine, served as a member of the editorial board of the Guardian newspapers, and became a household name for his stimulating articles published by the Guardian newspapers in the 1980s and 1990s. He has also served as chairman of the Council of the College of Education, Warri, member of the Council of University of Benin, and currently member of the Governing Council of the National Open University of Nigeria, member of the Nigerian delegation to the 46th Assembly of the United States, New York, USA, amongst other offices and positions in different spheres of life. The program of events at the colloquium commenced with the citation of Professor Godwin Sogolo, which ushered a presentation of a plaque in his honor, followed by an opening remark in which he thanked the organizers for putting up the event. He recognized and appreciated his family members, his friends, colleagues, students, and all participants for the honor granted him. He recounted his journey so far with the University of Ibadan, where he served all through his service years as a lecturer in the Department of Philosophy. He expressed his joy on how the university evolved from the very first year of its establishment to the present point it has attained, with his efforts and that of so many other scholars who passed through the university offering their skills and expertise. Professor Godwin Sogolo in his lecture spoke on how philosophy developed and has made impact in the world, despite how so many other fields and aspects of human knowledge sprang up. He opined that currently, considering the reality of this age, philosophy does not have the ability to solve specific problems like engineering, computer science, medicine, and the likes. Nevertheless, it retains its centrality and the challenge of understanding the universe and the human conditions as it now focuses on bringing clarification to all human fields, which makes it being referred to as a second-order discipline and an ambulance service to all discipline.
Well, on behalf of the Department of Philosophy, Faculty of Arts as well, and the university in general, I present this plaque to you in recognition of your meritorious service to our department. I hope you will appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. As long as human beings are confronted with competing paradigms, philosophy will continue to thrive. I am happy that philosophy is thriving at the University of Ibadan, where students in the Faculty of Arts, Law, and Social Sciences are obliged to go through one philosophy course or the other. The course in logic, for instance, helps to sharpen the analytical and conceptual capacity of students and ultimately make them better decipherers of policy options. Philosophy may be the most fashionable, may not be the most fashionable program today, but its enduring value will continue to make it an indispensable element of our cognitive capacity. If I've bored you with my marketing of philosophy, I apologize. I hope, however, that I might have succeeded in imprinting on your mind the value of this great discipline.
From the National Open University now came the keynote address on behalf of the former Vice-Chancellor of the National Open University now, Professor Vincent Adotenebe. In his presentation, he extolled the personality and value of the Emeritus Professor Godwin Sogolo as he delved into the topic in view, ethics, governance and social order in Africa, which he said was most befitting for a colloquium such as this. Professor Vincent Adotenebe defined ethics as a philosophical discussion about how we ought to live, which he also broke down into two, which are pagan morality and Christian morality, as proposed by Machiavelli.
Ethics is simply a philosophical discussion about how we ought to live. And I think that the relevance of discovering this ought lies in the fact that we live in a world where persons constitute the most important units of our relations. Essentially, we are concerned on how to act so that our acts injure neither our persons nor other persons. Surprisingly, philosophers have been engaged in the business of discovering this ought, this appropriate manner of acting, for over 2,500 years. The answer is not closer to us as it was to our philosophical ancestors.
Professor J.C.A. Agbakuba, the President, Nigerian Philosophical Association, NPA, in his paper presentation spoke on philosophy and development, considering the relevance of philosophy. He stated that what philosophy does today is addressing those matters that are underdetermined by the empirical sciences, whether they are social or natural. He further opined that philosophy as a way of life is philosophy as a practice and philosophy as practiced, and also the embodiment of an ideal. He said that in the realization of philosophical ideals, we must think of a context, and that context includes power. Philosophy is at this point mediated by the configuration of power in any given society. It is also mediated by history, culture, and tradition.
In the realization of a philosophical idea, we must think of the context. And that context includes power. Philosophy is at this point mediated by the configurations of power in any given society. It is also mediated by history and culture and tradition, in the sense that one tradition predisposes people to behave in a particular way, but if you have a philosophy that doesn't go along the lines of tradition, then you have to also re-educate people in order to make them go the direction you want them to go. In other words, then you have a task, because in transforming philosophy into action, you must have to deal with tradition, and you also must have to deal with historical circumstances.
Professor Jide Ogunbiyi gave a reverberating remark about the book launched, tagged Ethics, Governance and Social Order, an essay in honor of Professor Godwin Sogolo, which contains essays written by scholars within and outside Africa. He summarized the important aspects of the book.
About the book, this book is titled Ethics, Governance and Social Order in Africa. The essays present the opportunity to celebrate the man, Godwin Sogolo, at 70, and highlight his contributions to governance and social order, which have been his main preoccupation throughout his academic years at the University of Ibadan. 2. The anthology serves to interrogate the recurring problem of governance and social order, which is the predicament of many states in Africa today. This task is important considering the fact that almost 6 decades after the political independence of many African states, the problem of governance and social order still remains a daunting task.
This ushered in the unveiling of the book in company of some other scholars who stood in solidarity with the celebrant, Professor Godwin Sogolo.
Yeah. And I want to pray for Godspeed as this book travels all over the world, far and near, inspiring minds and impacting development of people and nation. In Jesus' name.
Reminiscences preceded the book launch as several colleagues, former students, family and friends took to the rostrum to give very laudable testimonies about Professor Godwin Sogolo, who they eulogized with their very encouraging remarks, which speaks volume of the great quality of the Emeritus Professor Godwin Sogolo. A roundtable discussion was also held amongst some of these scholars who were asked relevant questions as they provided feedback to the questions and gave some philosophical views and suggestions accordingly. It was indeed an educative session at the Colloquium, one which will remain evergreen in the memory of the participants. Biscayne Communications joins the University of Ibadan, Faculty of Arts, Department of Philosophy and all well-meaning individuals and groups to congratulate the Emeritus Professor Godwin Sogolo at 70. Many happy cheers.